welcome to Stockman Original, and today we are going to we're going to carve some runes. I showed some of our videos to a work colleague of mine, and he's asked me if we had any videos on carving runes, and we didn't, but now we do, so this is it. And we thought we would carve his name in runes, and his last name, is Partridge. So we're going to carve Partridge into this gorget, and then send it to him.
First, we're going to cut the thing out, get the actual pendant ready, and then we'll be scratching some letters in. Yeah, runes are incised generally into a surface on, a lot of times stone, but also wood, bone, whatever they get their hands on. But I've never seen it raised like a bas relief. So the process is fairly simple. And with slate's nice to work with because it doesn't really have a grain. It has layers. You can split it down like into very thin pieces if you want to, but it doesn't really have a grain like wood or even bone has. So it makes it kind of nice to scratch in because you can go in any direction without getting hung up. So that part's fun. The thing with slate that you gotta be mindful of is different hardnesses. And I only know that the red is a pain in the ass. We're gonna be using a piece of green. Making these gorgets, what's cool is you can do it. For one thing, it's an easy, fun thing to do. Yeah. And they'll be looking at that thing thousands of years. Look what I found in the backyard. They last forever. Any cemetery, at least in the U.S., I don't know if they use slate overseas or not, but they got it, so they must. Some of the oldest headstones in the cemetery will be made out of slate, and they look brand new. As opposed to like marble and those kind of stones tend to, even granite, deteriorate from the weather and so forth. We're going to cut some slate. So, yeah, that cut's pretty easy. A hacksaw. I used a blade that I kind of made for this, but hacksaws work real good. I mean, it's soft and it's like silt and stuff that has settled, clays and things that have settled into layers and compressed, so it's very fine grain. I mean, it doesn't have a running grain like wood, but it has granule. It's very, very fine, and it cuts very nicely, but I would recommend a hacksaw. I'm going to round it up, make it into a nice little pendant, but it's like, I think it's a little thick for our purposes, so I'm going to attempt to split it, which is a fun process. All I do is I use if you see these things in antique shops, grab them. They're usually about $2. They're really good steel. This one happens to be a silver-plated steel, but they're wicked good steel. You can sharpen these things up like a razor. They're paper thin. You don't want too thick of a blade. Didn't work. Edit. Oh well. Generally, they just come apart in two nice even pieces, but this particular stone is giving me troubles. But that's not too bad. I got the rest of it off. And this will work out well.
I noticed it was inside with the pencil mark that
broke, of course. Yeah. You can count on scratch. Because I'm going to continue the pendant up into more of a teardrop shape. So I don't want scratches up here. So it's going to hang like that. I think there's a pencil right behind you. Sharp pencil. Let's see. Get all technical here, right? Line up. See nobody. Piece of paper. Everybody's got a piece of paper. So I'm lining this up on the compass point in the middle and the peak of the piece. And that should give me a fairly square line here. And I'm going to flip it over and do lickety-wise. And this, the outline for the name is going to start here and end there. Yeah, I can use the compass for that. So, got that. I'm going to close it up a little bit. There, I guess. Yeah. Now that's at least laid out. Now I'm going to trim off the corners here and shape it. Actually, there's a million different ways of doing this. I'm using my little disc sander to kind of speed things up so we can fit it all in here. When I can. I like to leave the natural split surface. I mean, you can sand this thing up like a gemstone if you want to, but to me, the character of the slate is in that split surface.
Mm-hmm.
Count the letters. 9. Oh, that's cool. So 9. So that means 1 in the middle and 4 on either side. Split that in half and split the half in half. So should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that'll do it.
It's a relief.
We gotta lay out the border thing first. We want to pinch these 2 lines together. Twist them up a little bit. Off. Pencil is the most important tool you can have in your toolkit. Worked out pretty good. So I've got 2 that look pretty much the same. Seems to be what I gravitate towards, is a triangular point. I use the same type of thing for ivory, only they're much smaller. This is my ivory one, which shall never taste stone. But these 2 will. So you've got 3 good sharp cutting edges for scraping and a good point. I think by the feel of things, this one here is the sharpest. I'm gonna put my eyes down. So we've done the little border around here. Got my little block laid out in pencil so they can come off. And the problem is the pencil lines are too damn thick.
Yeah.
Knife, pencil. You just kind of start out kind of light.
So while Brian's doing that, I thought I would just explain the runes to you. So we've selected the Old English runes, and this is the Futhark. So Brian, when I said, oh, my work colleague asked about carving runes, Brian said, oh, I have the exact thing, a piece of paper in a book somewhere. And this is from a project that Brian did a few years ago.
A lot of years ago.
So if anybody wants to tell us that we've done the runes incorrectly, please leave it in the comments, but don't let my work colleague know, because he might be disappointed that he has something around his neck that does not actually say partridge.
Yeah, so there we are. They're as legitimately ruined as anything you could possibly. That's how they do it. Scratch them in, perhaps in the harder stones, of course. They might use a chisel and a mallet or something like that to cut the stone. They probably worked a lot in limestone, I would imagine. But anyway, slate. Love it. So we're going to jazz it up with a symbol in the middle. So we're doing a stylized partridge here, because it seemed appropriate. Even a haircut.
Can't even see it because of the light.
These are incised lines, which is how they would have done it back in the day, especially if they had slate to work with.
So that was pretty simple, from cutting that out of a piece of slate to here was just a couple hours.
Yeah, I've had friends that have done these with nails, which are very mild steel. I wouldn't recommend if you can get your hands on an old file. That's the ticket right there. Like I was saying, you just start with your light lines and then work them in deeper and deeper.